So, in answering the first question of our dialectic, what happened, we've looked at the 4 types of appearance as a way of categorizing what we wish to understand. And we've looked at the 4 elements of any appearance: the original state, the role, are we active or passive, the drama, which is a description of the story, are there other players in the appearance, other people and what are the relationships, what is it you're trying to accomplish in the appearance, and then finally we have the emotional and mental states, which we can rate from 1 to 10 in terms of intensity. And this brings us to the third element, and we can argue the most important element of answering this question, what happened, and that is the principle of building up an image. We wish to build up an image of what happened. We want to put all the various different elements of the appearance on a single sheet of paper, such that by simply looking at it we can see a pattern or an order that might be there, so that we can make sense of the appearance in a way that wasn't possible before. Now, appearances by their very nature appear fragmented, disordered, and hence that's why they're confusing or emotionally distressing. And the standard approach to interpret an appearance, if people even bother, is to look at those disparate elements and then further deconstruct them. They deconstruct them further and move away from the appearance in an attempt to try and make sense of it. Now, this is a movement in the opposite direction to what we're interested in. We don't want to make what is fragmented and partial even more fragmented and partial. Instead, we want to take all those elements and build up a picture so that we can see the whole of it. So, if we want to build up a picture, the best way of doing that is to literally draw it. Now, when I say draw, we're not looking for extraordinary artistic talent. It's enough that we can use a symbolic shorthand. So let's explore an example to show you what I mean. Let's say an appearance we might want to make sense of is a daydream that recently occurred. A daydream, so that's our type, one of the 4 types. And we want to look at the different elements. So the first element, if you remember, is the original state. So we can draw what we were doing before the daydream arose. Let's say in this illustration you were writing that novel you always wanted to write. So here you are at your computer, writing your novel, and you can see that this symbolic shorthand serves the function of being able to simply look at it, to be able to understand what it is that was going on. If this was a body of text describing what you were doing, by the time you finish the 4th sentence, you'll have forgotten what's in the 1st sentence. So simply by drawing it, we can glance at the situation to understand what was going on. So here we have you writing your novel. And because it's the original state, we can ask, how were you feeling at the time? And let's say that you were you were absorbed. That's your mental state. You're being imaginative. And we can rate that 1 to 10 in terms of intensity. Let's say it was a 7. So this was the original state. And then the daydream arose and interrupted it. So can look at the second element, which is the role. What were you doing in the daydream? So let's say in this daydream, there's one scene in the daydream and it's you and you're arguing with your boss at work. So we could just write boss here, and you're justifying some behavior that you engaged in the previous week that your boss came down on you hard for doing, and you're explaining to him all the things that you didn't actually explain to him at the time. So you're being active in terms of the role, because you're actively doing something, employing a strategy to achieve an intentional end, which is to justify yourself. So you're being active, this is the drama. You're at work arguing with your boss or justifying yourself to your boss. And then we can look at the emotional states, and maybe you have anxiety, a feeling of self-justification. Let's say that's an 8 on the self-justification-ometer. And so that would be our fourth element, the states involved. And now from drawing this, building up an image, we can see in one image and one piece of paper that the various different elements of the appearance all relate to each other in a very particular way, and we can see that with one glance, and patterns start to emerge. So here we have, you're being absorbed in your work, you're being imaginative, that's a certain state of mind, and suddenly it's interrupted with a completely different kind of state of mind, anxiety, and now you're justifying yourself. We could say that this role interrupted what it was that you were doing. So does it cost you anything? You're being active. There'll be an intention. Did you achieve your intention in playing out this role in the daydream? And so we can ask further questions, and those questions are what we will explore in the dialectic in more depth. But we can see the virtue of building up and drawing the image is that, as opposed to deconstructing the various different elements, we're instead beginning to reveal an order or a structure or even a purpose to the appearance, and that is how we reach understanding.